Hello! Today we're going to talk about where our fresh water comes from. But first, it's important to remember the steps of the water cycle. Let's look back at the water cycle by creating a fun art activity that you could easily do at home. For this activity, you will need the following items: a sheet of paper, transparent sheet of plastic like a sheet protector, markers, colored pencils and crayons, paper fastener, and scissors. To reduce the amount of plastic we use, try to recycle plastic for this project. Here are some suggestions of alternative plastic items you can use. First, let's carefully cut the sheets of paper and plastic in a circle. The circles could be any size, but you might want to make them at least 5 inches in diameter. Then, we'll draw out a landscape on a sheet of paper. And raindrops on the sheet of plastic. Place the plastic on top of the paper and very carefully cut a hole in the center. You might want to ask an adult to help. Place a paper fastener in the middle to hold both sheets together, and voila! We've created a water cycle model. If you make one at home, make sure to take a picture of it and send it to your teacher. Let's use it to review the steps of the water cycle. Heat from the sun causes water molecules on the surface of water bodies to turn to water vapor in a process known as evaporation. The water vapor comes together and forms clouds. This is known as condensation. When the clouds get full of water, water is released from the clouds as rain or snow. This is known as precipitation. The rain and snow that falls will either end up back in a body of water, or it can fall on land. If it falls on land, it can be absorbed by the surface soil, which helps our plants grow, or it can move further down and collect as groundwater, which can be used as drinking water. This last step is very important for all living organisms since we depend on fresh water for drinking and irrigation, and it provides a habitat for many organisms. Remember when we learned that the Earth's surface is made up of 71% of water? That seems like a lot of water, but most of the water is found in the ocean. Of all the water on the planet, 97.5% is found in oceans and is salt water. Humans can't drink salt water, so there's actually a lot less water available for human use than we might think. Fresh water only makes up 2.5% of all the water on the planet, meaning the amount is extremely limited, so we should really take care of it. Do you know where fresh water is located? Pause the video and think about where fresh water is located. Fresh water can be found in multiple ways. It is frozen as ice and glaciers, it's stored underground as groundwater, and it's surface water such as rivers, streams, and lakes. Permanent snow and glaciers make up 68.9% of our fresh water. Mountaintops can be considered natural water towers because they help replenish the water of rivers, lakes, and streams downhill. During the cold months, snow accumulates on the mountaintops, and in warm months, the snow melts and the water moves down as runoff. Groundwater is water that is stored under Earth's surface. When it rains or snows, or when runoff water moves downhill, it can be absorbed by the soil, or it can move further down and collect in aquifers. An aquifer is an underground layer of rock that holds groundwater. Water from aquifers is released naturally into streams, springs, rivers, and other bodies of water. It could also be drained by humans using human-made wells. Surface water includes streams, rivers, lakes, ponds, and wetlands. Surface water can also be human-made, such as artificial dams and wetlands. Surface water gets replenished by runoff from mountains as well as groundwater. Together, all of these sources and how they're connected are known as a watershed. Do you know where your community gets its water from? Pause this video and think about it for a minute. In the Willamette River Basin in Oregon, the community relies on rain and snow-driven stream systems for our drinking water and irrigation purposes. At surface water intake areas, pipes draw water from the streams and rivers, and it's pumped to water treatment centers. In Oregon, 70% of water used comes from surface water. In the Rio Laja River Basin in Guanajuato, the community relies on water stored underground in an aquifer for drinking water, irrigation, and production factories. Water from the aquifer can be accessed at a natural spring or pumped out of the ground by a well. In Guanajuato, there are 20 different aquifers throughout the state. Freshwater is very important for humans. Not only do we need fresh water for drinking, but we also use it for things such as cooking, agriculture, and washing. Unfortunately, there's a limited amount of fresh water available, and there's no way to get more. Therefore, we have to be very careful in not overusing water and keeping it clean. Here are some ways we can help keep our freshwater resources clean. We can help reduce the amount of water being used by finding ways to save water. Farms can use better methods to water their crops to reduce the amount of water being wasted. Families can recycle water that's been used at home, known as gray water, and use that water to water our lawn and plants. Buying appliances for the home that have water-saving features is a great idea. And as individuals, we can reduce our own use by doing things such as turning off the sink faucet when we brush our teeth or wash dishes, taking shorter showers, and repairing leaks that we see around the house. We can reduce the amount of pollution entering our water by limiting the amount of wastewater that factories are allowed to release into water systems, avoiding using toxic chemicals that could end up in water, consistently monitoring and repairing machinery to lower the risk of oil spills, and working with our community to have cleanup days to pick up trash around local bodies of water. Remember, we cannot make new water. The amount of fresh water on Earth is limited, and it's our job to try to use less and to keep it clean. Every little bit helps. What are some things you and your family can do to help?